Good afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Jessica Blum alongside meteorologist Carmelo Lattuca here on your Thursday afternoon, November 13th. What a beautiful day it is, Carmelo. I wanted to talk about that first, kind of check in on you, how you're doing. We're midway through the week.
After the start of the week to what we're seeing out there right now, and especially what we're expecting out there tomorrow, it is just gorgeous out there.
This is your Monday, too, and you got to enjoy
Yes.
the last couple of days, but we're
Yes.
even warmer today. Did you have a fun couple days off?
Fun couple days. I got a car wash.
Ooh.
Beautiful weather for it.
Yes.
Had to wait until after it got a little too cold, like at the beginning of this week. I mean, we were just downright chilly, but really nice day out there yesterday. I was in a t-shirt. It was nice.
It doesn't feel like November, but it definitely has that November look out there, I think, with
Yes.
the trees losing their leaves. Everything's starting to look brown at this time of the year, but really looking forward to some of this weather as we get into the end of this week. Only expecting to get a lot warmer. So I'm going to bring up, Carmelo wanted to talk about this first, our last 77-degree day.
I mean, on average, it is October 22nd, and we are forecasting a high of... The reason I put 77, it's a very specific number, is we are forecasting 77 tomorrow. So on average, October 22nd, we are now into the middle of November, and we take a look at the last 10 years, it kind of is all over the place. We have a few in November, we have some in October. Last couple of years, it was the 24th to the 29th, and all these temperatures are above 77. I mean, you take a look at 2018, October 3rd, it was 94 degrees. That was our last day at or above 77.
That felt like it was probably a Husker game, too.
Probably. A little toasty one out there. But we are expecting, at least projecting, a high of 77 tomorrow, and the latest we've ever had a 77 is November 25th, so we're not too far off from just unusually warm temperatures.
Well, it's very hard for us, I think, to see 80 degrees in the month of November,
It is.
too. We've done it before, but...
If we did hit 80, it would be the second latest 80-degree day ever in November.
Just dropping facts. Carmelo and even Bill back there in the Weather Center, you guys have all the records pulled up and really have these fun facts to share with everyone going into these warm temperatures, because it's something we might as well look at when we talk about warm weather, to put it in perspective for you at home. And yeah, because it is warm. This is unseasonably warm.
Very unseasonable. It's very unusual, but I don't know if that many people are complaining. You know, winter's on its way, but let's enjoy this while we can.
And I've been saying, too, I know I'm starting to get more in the Christmas spirit. I really am. And this is the time, I think, with the weather being this nice, you just have to put up Christmas lights if you're going to do it.
Oh, no doubt about that. I mean, you know, personally, I like to wait until after Thanksgiving.
I really don't blame you.
But if you are looking for the weather to do it, I mean, you can't ask for a better day. It's not even breezy out there.
No.
Like, that's usually something we'd have to worry about when it's this nice. It's just really strong winds out of the south, but it's just really nice out there these next couple days.
So warm, and it's been dry lately. We're going to talk about the latest drought monitor map that came out today. Starting with last week, though, you'll see a couple areas of moderate drought in portions of the Panhandle and around Chadron down to the south towards Sydney, and then up to the north from Norfolk into southeastern South Dakota. That was last week. And then we talk about this week, it did get a little worse.
It did get a little bit worse, you know, closer to David City, northern Lancaster County, you know, just to the north and west of Lincoln, now becoming a little bit more abnormally dry. Nothing to be worried about yet, but we definitely could use a little bit more precipitation. I know farmers have harvested, you know, so that's all good news there, but I don't want this to grow as we go into the winter months, and then we have to worry about this next spring. We want to keep this down to a minimum, and then we start to hopefully get more precip. But maybe some rain over the next 7 days.
That's interesting that you said that, too, because one thing I don't think I included in our stream today is the fact that I'm seeing some red flag warnings issued for some portions of the state. So we are dry enough, and there is enough wind. I think it was north central Nebraska.
North central and far northwestern, yes. And I wouldn't be surprised if that expanded.
And is that for today or is that for tomorrow?
I believe that is for tomorrow. I think that's when, you know, winds start to pick up just a little bit. I think we're okay here in Lincoln with the winds, but I think that is for tomorrow.
I just talked about some of those dry areas. It doesn't take much at this time of the year to get a little wind, and with the warm temperatures and the dry air, it can be a recipe for some fires to spark and spread rather quickly. So you'll want to be careful if you're in any of those areas. But as we move on from the drought monitor and talk about what warm temperatures we've had so far today.
Already hit 72.
We've already hit 72 degrees.
It's only just about 3 o'clock, so probably not too much more warming. I think this is what our forecast high was, at least this morning's forecast high, what I saw. So
And then you've got 77s out west.
It's incredible. It really is.
It is warm across the board. There's only a few spots that I see that are in the 60s at this point, but 70s for November.
I would take upper 60s at this point. I mean, yes, average high is, 52 degrees, so we're running 20 degrees above normal.
That's a lot. That is a lot to be warmer than average at this time of the year. And again, like you said, I don't think anyone's complaining.
Ah,
A lot of sunshine coming with these warm temperatures, too. We did have a little more cloud cover this morning, drifting to the south and east out of the state. And so just a few clouds to be seen, really, but plenty of sunshine across the area, no matter where you look.
no.
You're in Lincoln, Omaha, all the way out toward North Platte, and in Grand Island. So here in Lincoln, as we take a look at some of the current conditions, we're tied. Studio and no, I'm just kidding. I always think it's funny when we're the same because the Lincoln Airport can do a thing of its own.
This morning, Brandon Rector was telling me it was 36 at the airport and 51 at the studio. So
And then
I don't know what's
as a
up with that.
meteorologist, it's kind of like, oh, how do I explain this? The
A
airport is a thing of
little
its own.
microclimate at the
And
airport.
yes, yeah, definitely out there. It tends to drop off at times a little bit more than elsewhere in town. So it's
Yes.
nice to see the
Uniform
comparison
temperatures.
between that and the comparison between what the airport's doing and what the 1011 studio's doing.
Yes.
I think we're a better representation of sometimes what's going on around town. The winds out of the southwest around 10 miles per hour, but
Can't
no
beat
wind
it.
gusts higher
Can't
than
beat
that.
that.
Yeah, this is. I heard Bill on the noon show say maybe we should have done a top 10, 11 day for today too,
I think you absolutely could have argued it. I know it's subjective, but today and tomorrow,
which
I
would
mean,
make like 3 we've issued in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
pretty
I think,
incredible.
for
It's
November.
pretty incredible.
So
You would think of them as
October.
these specialties. They're kind of rare, but they're just out in
We're
abundance
just
this week.
fishing them out at this point. No, it's exciting to do that. But as you look at temperatures, but just before 3 o'clock this afternoon, a lot of us are in the upper 60s, lower 70s. Really, only a couple spots in the upper 60s at this point, but a lot of us are in the lower 70s. Comfortable as can be. These are getting into my favorite temperatures,
No, this is good.
especially for this time of the year. But just a good, comfortable lower 70-degree day is really comfortable, I think. And once you get a little warmer than this, as we're talking tomorrow, you start to feel it a little bit more.
Start to feel a little bit more. I mean, fortunately, we're not expecting anything humid tomorrow. So
Yes.
upper 70s, right around 80.
Sun angle and things like
Yes,
that.
so
Yeah, it's not as
just a
intense.
all around comfortable day.
It's just great to get out, and I've been meaning to get out for a walk this week, and I haven't. Today would have been the day to do it.
Tomorrow, if you don't,
Tomorrow
I'll be upset.
I've got to.
I'll be upset for
Especially
you.
Before Carmelo and I are planning to do a school visit tomorrow. We're really looking forward to that, but a little earlier day for me to get in, and I'm looking forward to that. But I think I do need to get out for a walk before I see.
It'll be a great picture with the kids for the weather shield.
Yeah.
Don't need your jackets tomorrow when
Yeah.
we take this picture. It's just gonna be great. At this time of year, I'd be like, all right, guys, bundle up, but
It's
we're
so
good.
weird because I feel like I've got to have a winter coat ready to go in the car.
Well, we've already worn them this week, like your heavy winter jacket.
Exactly.
So you're just the closet is ever changing with what to wear.
It really is, especially here in Nebraska. Maybe a morning that you need it, and then the afternoon you don't, kind of with the temperature spread we can see in a day. But as you look across southeast Nebraska, Grand Island, Fullerton, Hastings are all in the 60s. Everyone else is in the 70s.
A lot of
Nice.
70s in southeast Nebraska.
74 in Fairbury, Wilbur, Beatrice, Wymore, just a little bit warmer than everybody else. They tend to run a little bit warmer, especially in the morning, but that's what we're seeing at this point here this afternoon. And then those 60s do translate up into northeast Nebraska, but quite warm even out west.
Yeah, I think I see a few 77s out there. We got Imperial and Ogallala at 77, so it's a really nice day out there today. There really is no other way to say it.
And what we're seeing out west is kind of what we're expecting to move into our area by tomorrow with those upper 70s and some maybe touching on 80. We'll get into that in just a second. But winds are out of the southwest and southeast Nebraska, really out of the south for everyone until you get into the panhandle. A little west to northwesterly breeze, it looks like, from Alliance back towards Scottsbluff and Sydney.
But not a windy or even a breezy day by any means.
No, we have no higher wind gusts really to talk about. So we're going to flip over to satellite and radar and show you the clouds that we did have this morning have moved well off to the south and east. And really, we're almost looking at widespread sunshine across the state. It's really from here back toward Red Cloud, I'd say, that there's a little more cloud cover at this point.
I think if there's anything that's going to impact our temperatures tomorrow, it would be do we start off with any cloud cover? Is there any cloud cover that moves throughout the day? We could see some fog tomorrow morning. I mean, just a little bit of that could also impact our temperatures. But if we don't and we just have ample sunshine, basically what we have right now, I wouldn't be surprised. I know it's hard to get to those higher temperatures, but I think we could be flirting with 80. It's possible.
We've kind of been trending up in the temperatures all
We have.
week, too. I don't think we were expecting 72 today, like earlier this week, and then we've just kind of been having to
Earlier
bump
this
that
week,
up,
I had 70, I think, on Monday for Friday. So we
Yeah.
really just kept going up
Yes.
each day.
Yes. So you were on this same track of mine because, as you alluded to, we got to talk about what cloud cover we have into the day tomorrow. Talking now with our Skycast to go forward in time this evening and into tonight. Mostly clear skies. Boy, if we had the Northern Light situation last night for tonight would have been a little bit better. I know
Yes.
last night wasn't as good as the night before, but some I saw in rural areas out toward Columbus were able to see some of those Northern Lights last night too, but then they did have a little cloud coverage to deal with last night.
Yeah. Just really incredible. The amount of photos that are being sent in over the last couple of days.
Yeah,
I have no problem this weekend for my capture segment with what to show. There are literally hundreds.
I
to
love that
go
you brought
through.
that up because Carmelo's captures on the weekend, if you've missed it, is some of my favorite work. It's
Gonna be hard to pick through.
it is.
I mean, normally I'm like, all right, I have not a few, but at least I can go through a bunch, and I'm like, all right, these are the two best. Now it's gonna be like, how do I show the two best Northern Lights pictures? They're all great.
Bill also was updating some of our graphics too, and he found one with the Scottsbluff National
Oh.
Monument, and that was beautiful to see. I've
Interesting.
seen some sending in their cattle with
Okay.
the Northern Lights. It's really cool to see something in the foreground that's kind of like dark
Yes.
versus the Northern Lights in
Incredible.
the background. So they have been. If you've missed them, they're up on our 1011now.com website. There's a section under Submit Your Photos that you can see some of the gallery. If not, send in some more of your own. So Carmelo has even more work. No, just kidding.
Absolutely.
But there's been great pictures that we've seen. So, okay, we've been sitting on Skycast for a little bit. But as you can see, going into tomorrow morning, as Carmelo mentioned, you can see some of the low-level clouds starting to pop up, especially toward the border, really, in some of those low-lying areas toward the Missouri
Could be
River
some
in
fog.
Iowa. Yeah,
Be some fog development because as we play it through our next time step here, you're going to notice how quickly that kind of disappears
throughout
the late morning, early
which just
afternoon.
give us indication that
That would probably
definitely
be some
behaving
fog.
like fog.
Don't be surprised. I know that was a little bit farther south and east. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some patchy fog in Lincoln. And again, that could impact your temperatures, but really no weather impacts tomorrow. I mean, we're really just talking about the differences of what could cause our highs to be a little bit higher or lower.
Exactly. We're still expecting widespread, very warm temperatures throughout the
Yes.
state.
And lots of sunshine.
As you can see, yeah, tons of sunshine for south central, southeast, and much of eastern Nebraska. A few more clouds out in the panhandle and in northern Nebraska toward the South Dakota border. So that brings us into what temperatures are going to look like. We've been teasing at the forecast at Friday. Here's where we think temperatures start out in the morning, and then again, some of those maybe dipping into the 30s, maybe closer to the dew point temperature, and then as you can see, maybe some fog will form in those conditions in southeast Nebraska and then out toward our east, and then some 30s into southwest Nebraska as well. But then we've got to talk about Friday, because Friday is going to be the warmest of the next
Pretty
few days,
rapid
the
warm
warmest
up.
of the you said
you're-
rapid warm
Oh,
up.
absolutely. I mean, you're jumping from 40 to 64 from 7 to 11, and then 11 to 3, another 10, 15 degrees or so. So we're forecasting 77. I mean, even at 5 o'clock, 71 degrees, you just can't beat it.
Yeah, no matter what time you really get out tomorrow, you don't have to get out in the morning. If you're getting out in the afternoon, the evening, it should all be comfortable. A little warmer, of course, than the afternoon for this time of the year, but it should be a beautiful overall day. I don't want to tell anyone they should take off work, but it would be a good day to call in sick or miss a day.
I would. How many more days of this are we going to get before it really starts to get cold? I really think this could be one of our
Exactly.
last days just because of how unusual it is that we're really pushing at least 75 plus. I mean, I know we've seen it later in some years, but it's just not often. So
Car cruising weather, too. I've seen people out
Oh
and
my
about.
gosh.
When you mention that, though, and you know that cold temperatures, winter weather is just right around the corner. It can happen at any time at this point in the year almost. I've seen some people put on their trucks the snow plows already. Like, people are getting prepared.
I
It's
would
just been warm lately.
I mean, we could still see snow in the next couple of weeks. I'm not diminishing that aspect of it, but
Exactly.
just take advantage of the next 24 hours.
And that's what we're going to focus on because it's beautiful for the next few days. And then we still got time to figure out what's going to happen early next week because there are still some questions about that. But 77 degrees, as Carmelo has been talking about, us forecasting that for a high tomorrow would be a new record high. Not crushing the old record, but beating it out by at least a couple degrees. Our old record for November 14th comes from 1990 of 75 degrees. And then you see the comparison with our average high at this time of the year in the lower 50s.
That's 25 degrees above normal. I think the record's definitely in play. Earlier this week, I was like, we're just not going to get there.
I didn't think so either.
No, I mean, we've pushed our temperature up every single day. And honestly, if we had another day to forecast, I still think it could go higher if this was 2 days out for tomorrow. So
Brandon, tomorrow morning could bump
Yeah,
it even
I-
more.
yeah,
so
that's a good
of
point.
Course, yeah, it's
Wouldn't be
always
surprised.
good to watch us in the morning. We're updating every forecast for every show, and of course here on the streaming desk as well. Not to mention that Lincoln is not alone. There are some areas that could definitely shatter old records. Looking at Grand Island, maybe touching 80 degrees tomorrow. Their
That's
old
9
record,
degrees.
yeah, their old record 71 from 2001. These aren't terribly old records until you get toward Omaha. I think they've got a good chance to at least match their temperature.
They're flirting
their
with
record
it.
temperature for sure. But a lot of these are from 1990 or 2001, so it doesn't feel terribly old to me.
No.
I mean, compared to some of the old records we've
Yes.
seen at this or any time throughout the year, these are pretty recent records.
But if anybody's going to smash these records, I think Grand Island and Norfolk definitely have a shot. I mean, we're talking 6 to 9 degrees past the record high. So
And
you
then
know,
a lot of
I'm all
areas
for it. I
are
like when we
above it.
break records. I think it's cool. I think it's interesting. You know, a little statistical
I
information.
listen
So
to everyone too. If we're going to talk about warm weather, we might as well break a record. Might
it's
be
not.
interesting.
It's
to
not
talk
hot.
about.
You know.
No.
Is anyone complaining whether it's 72 or 77? Just break the record.
Well, yeah. People always find a reason to.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it is going to be warm. Not only
Wow.
here. Look at
That
some-
doesn't scream November
Oh my
14th.
goodness, no! 80 degrees. Grand Island down I-80 toward Kearney and Lexington. At least 3 spots, and I wouldn't be surprised to see more in central Nebraska touching toward 80 tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, look how many are at 79. I mean, that's 1 degree off where you're just flirting with it. So certainly possible.
Golfing weather, I would imagine.
Oh my God.
Tee times are probably non-existent tomorrow. I bring
Beautiful
up golf
day.
because I do a little bit. Do
Okay.
you?
I do not.
We got to get you out there. 'Cause
I know.
Obviously, most of the severe weather center at this point,
Yeah, no.
Golfs.
I think almost all of it does.
a lot of people across the area, I think, know that the severe weather center is, and we hope Ken is out, of course.
If
I
he's
know-
not out tomorrow, I'll be surprised.
I know Megan's been talking about it, I think, in some of the morning shows, just like Ken's, we picture him just living on the golf course, and these would
Absolutely.
be days to do that for sure. And then we go into Saturday, and past that, I think we will cool slightly into the beginning of this weekend. Not by any means for the morning when you're talking about 40s and 50s to
That's
start out.
that's
the day.
almost our average high. Our average high is 52. We're
You're
starting
right.
at
That's
51.
a great point.
That's a mild
That is a very
November
mild
morning.
morning.
You could keep the I mean, you arguably could keep the windows open.
So if you don't have time during the week to maybe put up Christmas happens on Saturday.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
absolutely.
be surprised. I might be calling my parents and making sure they're doing because I don't think they've done it yet. And they rely a
Time's
little bit
running out.
too much on me for the weather sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. But then not as warm, but 60s at this time of the year. You can't complain about. You can
If that's what a cold
enjoy.
front is going to do to you, I'm fine with it
A
because
dry cold front too.
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely,
We're
yeah.
not expecting any precipitation, but exactly. Sorry to finish your point.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's what a cold front's going to do.
I mean, you have a 59 on the cool side in O'Neill. You got a
Mm-hmm.
71 in Beatrice and Hebron, so looks good to me.
It looks good to me too. So looking at your 7-day forecast now, we do have the top 10, 11 day for tomorrow.
Yes.
And then still in the 60s for the beginning of this weekend, still touching 60 on Sunday. Not a bad weekend.
No, definitely a nicer start to it. I mean, 60, like you said, still not bad. And then it does look to be increasingly unsettled as we go into
Yeah.
next week. And our temperatures do fall down as well. So we got 55 on Monday. That's probably going to fluctuate. 40% chance of rain. There are one of our long track models
Please
is
go into
saying
this, yes.
is saying snow. I mean, we might even be able to pull this graphic up. Jessica, it is in the forecast folder. And I think it's in our 2019 forecast folder, but I'll keep talking about this as
Okay.
you look for it because I think Bill made it earlier. It's a comparison graphic between the Euro and the GFS,
okay.
so that looks really cool. I think, but potentially some snow Monday. Again, it's not looking like overwhelmingly of our models that are putting that out, and then it does look like some rain though next week as well. So after some pretty dry start to the month, I think we're looking to get some rain, and our temperatures do fall down as we go into Wednesday and Thursday of next week, but. Oh, there we go.
So this jumped ahead, but this is Monday afternoon.
So this is one of our long track models. So I just want to make this very clear. We look at there's a lot of models we look at, but this is one of our long track ones, the European model, 3 o'clock Monday afternoon, 54 degrees. That's all rain across the state.
It's running very warm. It's running with more of a southerly track from what I've been seeing with this Euro model, which would keep it warmer than a northerly track system that
Yes.
we've been seeing the American model run with. So going forward in time, this is now the GFS. At the
Same time frame, yes.
But it runs a lot colder. I will say it's that time of the afternoon, I would think it's really hard to get snow completely with the right profile through the atmosphere.
Right.
At this time of the year when we've been running so warm. But it is interesting that we've got to watch this and we can't completely discount this solution either.
I mean, this doesn't surprise me. Last Sunday for this Sunday, I had a rain and snow mix because this is what it had. It had two models kind of disagreeing. It's only pushed further a day. We're a lot closer to Monday as opposed to Sunday to Sunday. We're now Thursday to Monday. So I'm not surprised. I'm not sold, is what I'm trying to say. And I don't think anybody should be either. It's just
No.
something to watch out for. Stay tuned over the weekend. I'll keep it
And
up
really,
to
this
date.
is just us giving you the full picture of what we're looking into because I don't love to run with long range models and say that this is going to happen. This is just a way for us to look at the trends. And then once we get a lot more models that run short and medium range, we can get a lot more solutions to look at what may actually be happening as we get closer to next week. So,
Overwhelmingly, though, the temperatures
yeah.
are ranging into the 50s. There's a few that are trying to bring this cool, but even, again, 37. Yes, snowflakes could be falling. Sticking snow. Ground's probably going to be really warm after this
Sticking
weekend.
Snow, no, there's a lot more things that can inhibit, I think is the word I
Yes.
want to say, snow falling and sticking than really before
Right.
snowfall
I agree.
accumulation, especially this
Something to
time
watch
of
out
year.
for, because this would be a shock. I mean, after what we're seeing
It
out there
would be a
tomorrow.
shock. That's a good point. That's why we're watching it closely. 'Cause
Yes.
it definitely would be a shock. And this is early next week, so you'll want to stay tuned with Brandon, of course, in the morning, tomorrow, Bill in the afternoon, you throughout the weekend.
Yes,
closely watching this.
I'll be looking at it every day.
For sure. And then we're going to go toward 10-day just to show you the difference across
God.
much of the state. I love that Carmelo actually suggested that we throw this graphic in today because it just shows you the drastic differences in the colors and what we're going to expect from the end of this week toward the end of next week.
It's just funny. Sometimes you have to look at this and you're like, man, it's really hard to find out which day is going to be the warmest and coolest. There's not even a question
No, there's
tomorrow.
not even
There's
a
so much more yellow and orange there. And then maybe the coolest a little bit more difficult. You're looking for those dark blues. I see a few in O'Neill Thursday and Friday, but big story. Warmest out there tomorrow, cooling through the weekend, 40s next week. But it's nothing like exceptionally cold. I mean, it's still warmer than that 35 we had on Monday, so
Exactly.
but it definitely cools off.
And this is definitely a graphic we like to show at this point because it's not something we always show on air just because it's very busy.
It is a
to
busy
look at
graphic.
this many numbers, but the colors really help show you the trends as we're going from yellows and oranges toward blues and dark blues in some spots. Looking at O'Neill in the 30s, but northern Nebraska is probably expecting snow at any point at this time.
And it's not only big changes in temperatures. We're going to take a look at the precip now over the 10-day forecast, and you could see there's a lot more brown over the next 3 days as opposed to a lot more green. That starts on Monday, maybe kind of quiet Tuesday, Wednesday, and then those chances really jump back up Thursday and Friday of next week, and even into next weekend. So, and maybe it's multiple, little storm systems that it move through. So that rain on Monday, maybe more chances later in the week.
I was going to say, and if it's multiple systems, one can certainly have an influence on the next. So we'll be keeping a close eye on how those the overall pattern just kind of changes with time as we get closer to the end of next week, because that is still 7-8 days out.
Oh yeah, no, things can
at this
change.
point, and things can change. And then as we talk about the longer range pattern, this takes you toward is it 27th Thanksgiving?
I believe it is it might be the 25th. I'm actually going to look real quick while we're on there.
I guess I can look at the calendar too. That is Thanksgiving.
It's
2 weeks from
27th?
today. Yes. So we're looking at the overall
It's the whole nation that's
outlook.
almost in green. If I know this kind of shows the
You're
Nebraska
right.
region, but I was looking at the whole nation this morning, and it's almost there we go.
There
We
you
can do
go.
that.
Yeah.
Look at that. Is there anywhere that's in brown? I mean, there's a few that are near normal, but that's a lot of.
even Alaska if you care to look at Alaska. Alaska.
But
There's
yeah,
some that are gray.
it could be
that
an
are
active
near normal, but
right, but it could be an active
holiday.
middle to the end of the month. I know holiday. We hate
A
to.
lot of travel.
I'm not saying anything about travel right now. I mean, we're still so far
No,
out,
way
but
too
it's something
early.
to keep an eye out because I know people travel before the actual holiday. So
Absolutely. And then as we go into the temperature outlook, a
little bit
kinda
more
tale of
difference.
two halves.
Yeah.
The western coast looking cooler, but then toward the east coast, great chance of being above average during this stretch.
And that's why we probably think more rain than snow. I'm not saying we couldn't see snow, but our average high right now is 52. So figure it probably drops into the upper 40s. So I think 50s, maybe even a few 60s, still not out of the question, especially in the eastern third of the state.
Well, I appreciate your time today, Carmelo.
Thank
That's
you.
kind of all we have for this afternoon, talking about the forecast for your Thursday, going into a very warm Friday, and what we're looking at into early next week. Of course, you can be sure to catch up with the latest on our 1011 weather app, as well as on 1011now.com. We'll continue to post the latest forecast updates throughout the afternoon, evening, and even into the morning, of course, each day. But we wish everyone a safe and very nice couple days here as we enjoy these warm temperatures into the end of this week.